Get your awesome Lyrical Disc and Lulu limited edition mat today. Link will be down below in the description. Is that Infernoid I'm seeing for today's video? Yeah, it is. Papa Yu-Gi-Oh here. Papa Goat Yu-Gi-Oh reached out to me with this spicy, real interesting list for you guys here. And it has been a little while since I've seen anything Infernoid actually come out of the woodwork. So guys, make sure you smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more deck profiles. And of course, if you guys have done well with anything, please feel free to reach out to me on Facebook so that we can cover this stuff. Alright, so Infernoid. We have one singular copy of Antra. Do take note here before we get too far into this. We have no Ash Blossoms in the main deck. There's just Gamma Boys and the one Drivey. Alright, so we can make sure that we can optimally do what we want to do, which is just dump a bunch of cards into the graveyard and laugh at our opponent in Tiara. Alright, so we have one copy of Antra, one copy of Atandol, triple copies of Decatron. Now remember, Decatron is going to be probably your backbone in this deck. On normal or special, you're going to get to send any Inferno, any of them, from your deck to the graveyard, except for himself, because wouldn't it be cool if you could just Decatron into Decatron into Decatron, but no, we can't do that. And if you do, increase this card's level by the level of the set monster, and if you do, this card's name becomes that monster's, and replace this effect with that monster's original effect. So, you can get negations, interruptions, destructions, negateses. You can do everything with Decatron. Also, he's a tuner. So, still, probably the most hilarious thing in this deck is he's a tuner. So, you can technically make Hulk, but, nah, we're not trying to go that way. We have two copies of Deviati. The big ones have been pretty much at 2 for the longest time in this deck. So yeah, just 2 Deviati and 2 copies of Onaku. If you're trying to play 3, I think you're pushing for like 60 cards at this point in time. And that's not even worth it. We have 1 copy of Harmadic, 1 copy of Patrulli, 2 copies of Seismitis, 1 copy of Sujete, and then we have triple Gamma with 1 driver. So we've got plenty of hand trap options just available in this. We have 2 copies of Droplet. I almost figured you'd want 3 in this style of deck, but I guess understandable. We have triple copies of Lair of Darkness, attributing our opponent's monsters to banish from their graveyard. Isn't that nice? Triple copies of Monster Gate, because just getting a free mill all, just until you get to Decatron, is actually quite nice. We have 1 copy of Mystic Mine. So, being able to oppress your opponent, they build like a 7-8 negate board. You just slap this on the table after you bait like a negation or something. You just continue to play the game. Like, that's what Mystic Mine gets us in this format, is like a generic floodgate card. We have 1 1-for-1, triple copies Pot of Extract because we need to do the generation draw. 1 copy Reasoning, because, I mean, your opponent's always going to call 1, right? Hopefully. We have 1 Terraforming, triple copies of Void Imagination, because getting our boss monster onto the field is the main thing that this deck wants to do. We have 1 copy of Void Vanishment, of course, getting to our Void Spell and Trap card. And I mean, just what? Ditching something worthless along the way is fine. 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence, and 1 copy of Void Feast. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice. Just gotta link out these guys, because they all have that level restriction that you can't have more than X levels on the field. So the linked monsters actually bypass that for you. 1 Relinquished Anima for the Suck. 1 copy of Link Karibo. 1 Phoenix, 2 copies of the Gravity Warrior, so we can link out worthless things out of our EDM. 2 copies of Crusadia Equimax for OTKs. 1 Omega, triple copies of Tiara, and triple copies of Venentis. Side deck here, we're actually playing 1 Archlord Christia for shenanigans. Triple copies of Denko Rekka. Sticking this on the field against anything that's just back row heavy, and then you're just able to do a full blowout through the monsters, or the spell and trap removal is great. Then we have 1 at the end of Anubis. While this card is face on the field, all effects of spell and trap card monsters that target cards in the graveyard or that activate in the graveyard are negated. Anybody else remember this giant 2500 creature and its Floodgate-esque effect? I do. We have 1 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 copies of Dark Ruin No More, 2 Dogmatic Punishment, triple copies of Trap Trick, and 2 copies of Void Feast. Wrapping up Papa Goat Yu-Gi-Oh's very, very interesting Infernoid list for everybody. So the potential for this, like, locally is actually very, very nice. Like, nice rogue pick. Honestly, I like this a lot. Next up, we have frickin' Virtual World, baby. This was a first place finish for Virtual World that I actually got the chance to look at. Yeah, that's a Dragoon chilling down here for interesting reasons, by the way. Thank you, Muddy Mud, for being a fantastic, beautiful creature at the end of the day. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Gamma, triple copies of Nyan, of course, triple copies of Lily, triple copies of Lulu, only one copy of Tutu. Tutu's overall value has pretty much still just been a 1-up for the entire time. We have triple copies of Lao, triple copies of Gigi, one copy of Psyframe Driver. That wraps up our monsters. Pretty straightforward on the monster department, actually. Spells, we have the 1 Emergency Teleport, the 2 copies of Foolish Braille Goods. We're on 2 copies of Pot of Desires and triple copies of Prosperity. I know people are still making infinite arguments even now, like what the proper ratios are. I think I've seen 3 Desires, 2 Prosperity, but I mean, Prosperity does conflict if you're trying to play the Stardust Charge Warrior, but I wouldn't try to go down that path. I feel like that's just kind of worthless at that point. So you just kind of focus on your main draw engine and go from there. All right, we have triple copies of the Kowloon, triple copies of Qinglong, triple copies of Chuchi, and 1 copy of Zhuan's Wu. All right, extract here. We have the 1 Hyperton, because, you know, with the death of True King of All Calamities, that's about all you can do. Still playing the 1 Bamboozling, 1 copy of Fortune Tune, 1 Utopia Beyond, 1 copy of Zeus, 1 M7, 1 Shen, 1 Jiu, 1 Vermilion Dragon Mech, of course, 1 Tzolk'in, 1 Crocodile, 1 Muddy Mud, 1 Crystal Wing, 1 Cloud Castle, and 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Side deck here. We have triple Lancia, triple Nibiru, 2 copies of Skullmeister, 2 MST, triple copies of Twin Twister, 1 Imperial Order, and 1 copy of Red Reboot here, wrapping up, well, some love for Virtual World, because they really need it right now. And last for this video, we have Renzo Rodriguez's first place Infernoble Knight. Now, this deck has had to evolve yet again because they lost True King of All Calamities. So now we're still going to have to do combo things, all right? So who else would do it better than Warrior Toolbox? So we have 1 Armageddon Knight, 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Deskbot 001, 2 copies of Fireflint Lady, 1 Phoenix Gearfried, 2 copies of Renaud, 1 copy of Ogier, triple copies of Oliver, 1 copy of Coltwing, triple copies of Neospace Connector, 2 copies of Aqua Dolphin, because we're going to get that hand rip on our opponent, 2 copies of Nibiru, 1 Plague Spreader, 2 copies of Skullmeister, 2 Quantum Red Layer, 1 copy of Ancient Cloak, 1 Silent Boots, and 1 Torn Scales. Alright, spells, we have triple Durandal, 1 Autonomous Action Unit, 1 Called By, triple DDR, 1 Phoenix Blade, 2 copies of Heritage, 2 copies of Living Fossil, 1 Rhoda, 1 Appointer, and 1 Phantom Knights of Shade Brigade. Extra deck here we have 1 Abomination, 1 Auroradon, 1 Unicorn, 2 copies of Isolde, 1 copy of Hulk, 1 Appaloosa, 1 Access Code Talker, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Omega, 1 Power Tool, 1 Charles, 1 copy of Roland, 1 Herald, 1 Borrowed Savage. Side deck here is 2 Lancia, 2 Droll Lockbird, 2 Gamma Seal, triple copies of Gamma with the 1 Driver, with 1 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Dark Ruler No More, and 2 copies of Twin Twister, wrapping up Mr. James Francis's list for everybody. But of course, everybody, I always have to say it, make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more excellent deck profiles. And I always say at the end of these as well, anytime you guys do good with decks like this, whether it be locally, online, events, whatnot, send them on over to me and I will take a look at them, and if we can fit them into a segment, I will beautifully cover it so that the world gets the chance to see what cool crazy stuff is cooking out there. Alright guys, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later on in the day for some more cool awesome content. Peace out guys, have a good one. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out MColeGames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.